You might feel completely normal until one day you can't get out of bed. No pain, no obvious symptoms, just an ordinary morning, but something in your body has changed forever. He was 73, living alone in a small town in Montana. A lifetime of strength, never hospitalized except for a broken leg in 1985. Still driving, tending his garden, hunting in the mountains every fall. Each morning he brewed coffee, ate boiled eggs, and checked his blood pressure occasionally. When the reading seemed a bit high, he'd just laugh, "I'm still fine." 3 weeks later, he collapsed in his garage. A stroke hit fast with no warning. And when he woke up in the hospital, he couldn't lift his left arm anymore. This story isn't rare. Millions of Americans over 60 live with high blood pressure without knowing it. Not because they don't care, but because this condition is a master at hiding. It doesn't cause pain, doesn't make you feverish, doesn't trigger a cough. It just waits, waiting for a moment of carelessness. Then it strikes the heart, brain, kidneys without notice. And the scariest part, it doesn't come from big mistakes. It comes from small habits, repeated choices every day, still called harmless. In this video, I'll join you to uncover 10 common but often overlooked mistakes that silently raise our blood pressure. We won't use doctor speak, we'll chat like friends. No judgment, no scare tactics. Just the truth and ways you can act starting today. Because blood pressure isn't just a number on a screen, it's a mirror reflecting how you live, breathe, eat, sleep, and love yourself. Let's start with the first mistake, a seemingly small one that might tire your heart every day. "I'm still fine. I don't need my medicine today." A familiar saying and the first trap. 1. The silent climb. Why high blood pressure feels like nothing until it's everything. There's something strange about high blood pressure. It doesn't knock. It leaves no clear marks on your face. It doesn't keep you awake with pain or exhaustion like the flu. It just rises silently, bit by bit, like water filling a dam with no one to guard it. I remember a man who attended my mom's retirement group. His name was Jack, 68 years old, the loudest laugh in the room, never missing a card game. One day he didn't show up. A week later, I heard Jack was hospitalized with heart failure and stage 2 kidney damage. He'd had slightly high blood pressure readings before, but "I'm still fine," he'd said. He didn't smoke, walked every morning, ate moderately, but he never thought a number on a device could turn everything upside down. You see, high blood pressure doesn't bang on your door in a panic. It doesn't knock you down instantly. It just quietly destroys damaging blood vessel walls, making the heart work harder, weakening the kidneys over time. And when you finally feel something's wrong, it's often when the damage is already set. Imagine driving through a pass with leaky brakes. At first, no one notices. The car still moves. But the longer you go, the more dangerous it gets. Only when you need to brake hard do you realize what's happened. High blood pressure is the same. You still live, work, laugh, until your body needs an emergency stop and you realize you've lost control. The lesson here is simple. Feeling okay doesn't mean you're healthy. And with blood pressure, feeling okay is the most dangerous illusion. So why do so many ignore this part of it? Comes from the first mistake many make, skipping meds, changing doses, or taking them incorrectly. Not because they're lazy or careless, but because they think if they don't feel different, there's no need to take it seriously. Right now, let's explore that first mistake together and how to fix it, starting with the smallest steps. A pill, a habit, a change. Let's continue. 2. The medication trap. Why feeling fine is not a reason to quit your pills. There's a phrase internal medicine doctors hear often: I feel fine, so I stop my meds for a while. And in many cases, that's the start of a big problem. Ellen, 72, was a nurse for 35 years. She understood illness, understood the body, understood medicine. When her doctor prescribed her first blood pressure medication, she took it diligently, never missing a dose. After 6 months, her readings stabilized. She felt lighter, fewer headaches, deeper sleep. Then one day she thought, maybe I'm cured. My body's working well. And she stopped. No doctor consultation, no record of changes. Just stopped. 3 months later, she felt lightheaded while cooking. Her blood pressure then read 182/104. She restarted the meds, but this time the effect wasn't the same. Her body had started adapting to the fluctuations. What many don't know is blood pressure meds aren't like painkillers. They don't make you feel better right away. They quietly adjust your circulatory system, like reinforcing a house's foundation, not adding a new floor. Skipping meds even for a few days can cause blood pressure to spike, then drop sharply when you resume. Those swings strain blood vessels, overwork the heart, and in some cases lead to heart failure or stroke. Many reasons lead people to skip meds: forgetting due to memory lapses, avoiding side effects like dizziness or fatigue, hurry, or simply saving money. And in each reason lies a real risk. The lesson here: feeling fine isn't a signal to stop meds. It's a sign the meds are working. If you're worried, don't quit. Ask. Your doctor can switch meds, adjust doses, or offer better options. Small tips to maintain your med routine. First, use a pill organizer by day. Set reminders on your phone or tablet. Tie taking meds to a habit, like after brushing your teeth in the morning. These small, repeated actions can keep you out of the emergency room. But even if you take meds correctly, a silent factor undermines your efforts every day. Not meds, not stress, not age, but salt. Not the salt you sprinkle on food, but hidden salt lurking in foods you'd never suspect. That's the third mistake, and one of the biggest culprits keeping your blood pressure from dropping despite doing everything right. 3. Sodium sabotage. How even healthy foods may be loading your bloodstream with salt. Most of us think salt comes only from the shaker on the table. So when doctors advise cut sodium, we simply sprinkle a little less. But the truth is, most of the salt you consume daily doesn't come from what you add. It comes from what's already added. Michael, 66, was disciplined with his diet. No fries, no salty sauces. Dinner was salad, grilled chicken breast, and a slice of whole grain bread. He thought he was doing right. And in terms of willpower, he was. But his blood pressure stayed high. After a hospital visit for shortness of breath, his doctor asked him to log everything he ate for a week. The results shocked him. Canned soup for lunch, 800 milligrams in sodium per cup. Whole grain bread, 100 milligrams per slice. Light salad dressing, 330 milligrams in 2 tablespoons. Supermarket grilled chicken, pre-salted. In just one day, he'd consumed over 2,400 milliliters of sodium without realizing it. Sodium doesn't just come from saltiness. It's a preservative, a texture enhancer, a secret to keeping food tasty and shelf-stable. From bread, cheese, sauces, frozen meals, even breakfast cereals, hidden salt lurks everywhere. A little-known fact: seniors over 60 should limit sodium to under 1,500 milliliters daily, but most average over 300-400 milliliters. And as you age, kidneys don't filter salt as efficiently. That means a moderate salt intake at 40 could overload at 70. The small lesson here: sometimes what harms you doesn't come from eating too much, but from not knowing what you're eating. So what can you do? Or read food labels. Aim for low sodium under 114 per serving. Rinse canned goods like beans or veggies before cooking. Cook more yourself. When you control ingredients, you control health. Remember, replace salt with natural flavors, lemon, garlic, pepper, herbs. You don't need to eat bland. Just season with awareness, not habit. And after controlling sodium, another question arises. How do you know your blood pressure is truly improving? You can't guess. You need to measure. And that's the fourth mistake, not checking blood pressure regularly. Not because of disinterest, but because we still believe, if I don't feel anything, everything must be fine. But with blood pressure, silence is often the most dangerous sign. 4. The numbers game. Why a single blood pressure reading doesn't tell the whole story. Have you ever visited a clinic, checked your blood pressure, and the number left you confused? Or the opposite, a perfect reading that lets you sigh with relief, then skip checks for weeks? If so, you're not alone, and you're not wrong. We're taught one number is enough. But with blood pressure, a single reading doesn't tell the full story. Teresa, 70, from Arizona, was diligent about her health. She logged her diet, did yoga 3 times a week, and never missed a doctor's appointment. Then at a routine checkup, her blood pressure read 118/76. Her doctor smiled. Great, keep it up. She went home confident she had everything under control. But weeks later, she felt dizzy in the mornings, restless at night, and had a nagging headache. When her daughter bought a home monitor, the morning reading hit 152/90. It dropped to 128 by afternoon. The next day, it rose slightly again. Unclear fluctuations, no obvious symptoms, but very real. The key point: blood pressure varies throughout the day, influenced by Shatunton, the previous night's sleep, Hunmaikanum, your last meal, Shafur Kiyomorn, stress levels, Fornmadawarinum, body movement, and then even anxiety while sitting before a doctor's machine, called white coat syndrome. A perfect reading at the clinic doesn't mean you're safe for a month. Likewise, a high reading at home isn't always a red flag. The lesson here: you need a picture, not a puzzle piece. Regular home monitoring helps you spot trends, not guess from a moment. A few simple tips for accurate blood pressure checks. Measure at the same time daily, morning or evening. Sit still for 5 minutes before measuring. No talking, feet flat on the floor. Lean back, place your arm on a table so the device is level with your heart. Record results via notebook or app to bring to appointments. You don't need to become a doctor. Just be your body's best companion. Tracking blood pressure regularly helps you and your doctor understand what's working and what needs adjusting. It's not strict control. It's a quiet conversation between you and your body. The more regular that chat, the more at peace you'll be. But one thing can spike your blood pressure even if you eat healthy, measure accurately, and take meds on time. Stress. Not the panicked kind, but silent, prolonged stress like background noise in your mind. Let's explore the next mistake, something that doesn't show on a monitor, but affects your readings more than you think. 5. The hidden cost of sitting. How inactivity stiffens arteries and elevates risk. Have you ever thought that the familiar sofa in your living room could affect your heart, not because it's hard or too soft, but because the time you spend on it might be silently weakening your cardiovascular system? Harold, 75, lived with his wife in a small Pennsylvania town. Once a truck driver, he retired at 68. Each morning he read the paper, watched his favorite shows, then napped. Afternoons added more news and old movies. He didn't smoke, ate decently, and took his blood pressure meds regularly. But one day at a routine checkup, his doctor said, "You show signs of mild circulatory decline, and your blood pressure is creeping up over time." Both he and his wife were shocked. "We haven't done anything wrong." But the issue was he hadn't done anything at all. The human body is built to move. When you sit too long, blood flow slows, muscles lose tone, and blood vessels become less elastic. That's why prolonged sitting is called the new smoking. Not because 2 hours of sitting is dangerous, but because you repeat it daily for years. The American Heart Association reports that inactive seniors have a 30% higher risk of high blood pressure compared to those who maintain light activity. The good news: you don't need to become an athlete to reverse this. The small lesson here: it's not just about intense exercise, it's about stopping doing nothing. Tutkinino. Walk around the house every hour. Stretch after each show. Garden, fold laundry, fetch mail, anything to get your body out of stillness. Some gentle activities many seniors enjoy. Walk 10 or 15 minutes each morning or evening. Do leg and arm stretches while watching TV. Use a chair for light home exercises. Join senior fitness classes, gentle yoga, tai chi, slow swimming. It's not about intensity but frequency. A moving body is a protected heart, and if silent factors harm your heart, another often unnoticed culprit is lack of sleep. Not sleeping enough, not sleeping deeply, or waking too early doesn't just make you tired. It also hinders blood vessel repair and blood pressure regulation each night. In the next part, we'll discuss sleep debt, the silent burden your heart is carrying. 6. Sleep debt and nighttime blood pressure. Why poor sleep is not just about feeling tired. People often think poor sleep just leads to drowsiness, irritability, or fatigue the next day. But for those over 60, every restless night might be silently pushing blood pressure higher. Clara, 69, was meticulous and disciplined. Each morning she woke at 6 a.m., drank tea, read, and did light yoga. She ate healthily, took meds on time, even checked her blood pressure 3 times a week. But she had a small issue she thought was insignificant. She didn't sleep deeply, often waking at 2, 3 a.m. and taking over an hour to fall back asleep. Her blood pressure, though stable during the day, fluctuated oddly each morning. Her doctor finally determined she lacked restorative sleep. Deep sleep, the most natural regulator of blood pressure. When you sleep deeply, the sympathetic nervous system, the alert awake part, pauses. Then blood pressure drops to its baseline, letting blood vessels relax and the heart rest. But if you sleep less than 6 hours a night or sleep interruptedly, your body never enters that recovery state. Research shows seniors sleeping under 6 hours nightly have a 20–30% higher risk of elevated blood pressure compared to those who sleep enough. And combined with stress, high salt intake, or little movement, this is the silent combo making blood pressure hardest to control. The small lesson here: enough sleep isn't indulgence. It's part of the natural prescription your heart needs daily. A few gentle ways to improve sleep for seniors. Avoid caffeine after 2 p.m. Stick to a sleep schedule even on weekends. Turn off bright lights and devices 30 minutes before bed. Practice slow breathing or listen to light meditation music. Avoid long daytime naps, even afternoon ones. Sleep is a gift and a blood vessel repair machine each night. Don't let it be disrupted by late TV or pre-sleep phone scrolling. And while sleep calms the nervous system, something else does the opposite every day, every hour. Stress. Not loud or chaotic, but silent, familiar stress full of risks. In the next part, we'll open an important chapter: Stress signals and why your heart feels your worries, even when you don't notice. 7. Stress signals. The fight or flight system that never turns off. You might sit still, say nothing, be unbothered, pain-free, and still have high blood pressure. Why? Your body is responding to a signal you've stopped noticing stress. Raymond, 71, lost his wife 2 years ago. Since then, he's lived alone in their old home. He still eats regularly, takes meds on time, occasionally tends his roses, but the long nights grew heavy. He often woke midnight not from pain, but from a quiet emptiness within. His doctor noticed his blood pressure was unusually high in early mornings, despite unchanged diet and meds. After several talks, the cause emerged. Not a physical illness, but unaddressed grief. When you're stressed, whether angry, sad, anxious, or lonely, your body triggers the fight or flight system, speeding heart rate, constricting blood vessels, releasing hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. This is useful when dodging an accident, but when that state lingers for weeks or months, your blood vessels stay slightly squeezed, your heart beats harder than needed. Research shows seniors with frequent stress have up to a 40% higher risk of high blood pressure plus greater chances of heart disease, stroke, or chronic insomnia. The catch: stress doesn't always come in obvious forms. Sometimes it's just the TV on all day to fill the void, a soft sigh while watching news, a hollow feeling you can't name. The small lesson here: your heart doesn't distinguish between outer or inner stress. It only knows you're under pressure, and it responds the only way it can, raising blood pressure to prepare for battle. Gentle ways to soothe your nervous system. Breathe in a 4 to 7 8 rhythm. Inhale 4 seconds, hold 7, exhale 8. Write a gratitude journal list, 3 things you're thankful for each night. Step outside in early light, even for 10 minutes. Call a family member or old friend, no reason needed. Pray for a year, pray, meditate, or quietly listen to an old tune with eyes closed. No exercise fits all, but one thing suits every tired heart. They need time to calm, and something else keeps your heart from resting, though you might not think it's serious: those familiar morning coffee cups and the small evening wine glass. In the next part, we'll explore how caffeine and alcohol, seemingly harmless, can disrupt your blood pressure. Not to make you quit, but to choose the right way for a healthier heart. 8. Caffeine and alcohol. When comfort beverages backfire on your cardiovascular system. A morning coffee cup, a small evening wine glass. They're like old friends, familiar, comforting, and sometimes the only thing making a day feel complete. But with blood pressure, these friends can sometimes turn into unwelcome guests. Dennis, 67, was a coffee lover. A lifetime printer designer, he started each day with a strong espresso and added a few iced coffee boosts throughout. At night, he enjoyed a red wine glass to relax and sleep better. Everything seemed fine until he began feeling a racing heart, poor sleep, and harder to control blood pressure. Caffeine is a stimulant. It raises heart rate, constricts blood vessels, and can temporarily spike blood pressure, especially in those sensitive to it. In seniors, caffeine metabolism slows, so effects last longer and hit harder. The same goes for alcohol. A small amount can relax you, but regular or excessive drinking reverses that, fun, raising blood pressure, interfering with med effectiveness, causing dehydration, sleep disruption, increasing anxiety and irregular heartbeats. Mayo Clinic research shows over 2 coffee cups daily can raise blood pressure in sensitive people. Just 1 to 2 alcohol drinks a day can affect blood pressure meds if habitual. And in seniors, cumulative effects are worth noting. The small lesson here, coffee and alcohol aren't enemies, but they need to be handled with self-awareness and moderation. Gentle suggestions. Switch to decaf after breakfast. Monitor blood pressure before and after coffee to see your body's response. Limit alcohol to one small glass shot day and avoid drinking near bedtime. Explore alternatives: herbal tea, chamomile, mint, warm water with lemon, or sparkling water with fresh fruit. You can keep familiar rituals as long as you do so with intention and balance. And if coffee and alcohol are silent factors, another extremely important comes from the most obvious thing: whether you dare to speak up about anything unusual or not. In the next part, we'll address one of the most common and dangerous mistakes: not sharing enough with your doctor or thinking it's not worth mentioning, and why in managing blood pressure, communication can be the most effective medicine. 9. The family factor. Why involving loved ones improves blood pressure control. In the journey to manage blood pressure, there's a remedy not sold in pharmacies, needing no prescription, and sometimes just a daily phone call. That's the presence of loved ones. Lorraine, 74, lived with her youngest daughter and two young grandchildren. Despite her age, she cooked daily, tended her garden, even walked to the nearby park. But one special thing each afternoon, her grandson, 14, would remind Grandma, "It's blood pressure time." He'd log the reading in a small notebook stuck on the fridge. And whenever she delayed her meds, her granddaughter brought a glass of water to her hand. None were nurses, doctors, or health experts. They were just people who loved her and chose to be part of her care journey. The result: her blood pressure stayed stable for 6 straight months, not because she changed meds, but because she wasn't alone. Many seniors carry the mindset of not wanting to burden their kids. They endure silently, hide symptoms, skip meds, but don't say, and often think, "It's my issue, I can handle it." But the truth is, when you let loved ones into your health journey moderately, it becomes easier. A study by the American Heart Association found seniors with family support have a 42% higher adherence to blood pressure treatment and a lower risk of hospitalization from heart complications. The small lesson here: love isn't just care, it's walking together step by step. When you share your health journey with family, you don't weaken. You grow stronger because you have a team. So how to connect without feeling burdensome or dependent? Suggest a shared habit: check blood pressure after dinner with a grandchild. Share feelings about staying on meds to help loved ones grasp its importance. Start a family chat to update weekly readings, not for control but companionship. Shop and cook low-salt meals together as a bonding activity. In these small acts, you're building a love network and the best disease prevention. And to end this journey fully, we can't skip the most crucial relationship in managing blood pressure: the one between you and your doctor. In the final part, we'll explore why honest communication, even a few short sentences, can be the key to saving your heart. Not medical knowledge, but the truth you share. 10. Ask, don't assume: how honest conversations with your doctor could save your life. One of the quietest but most dangerous things in managing blood pressure is the silence between you and your doctor. Janice, 70, had attended routine checkups every 6 months for over a decade, always on time, always nodding when her doctor asked, "Everything's still okay?" But there was one thing she never mentioned: occasionally feeling dizzy when standing, and some days her blood pressure spiked unusually in the evening. She thought, probably just age. Don't want to bother the doctor with small stuff. Until the day she fell in her kitchen from imbalance and was diagnosed with transient circulatory failure due to a medication reaction. The truth is, doctors can't care for you better. if they don't know what's happening. Not because they don't care, but because every medical decision relies on the information you share. And when that info is incomplete, prescriptions may be wrong, doses unfit, or critical signals missed. Three things you should always discuss with your doctor, no matter how small. Any new symptoms, even brief ones. Recent habit changes like diet, sleep, movement, or supplements. Your emotions because mood directly affects blood pressure, sleep, and med effectiveness. A University of Michigan study found seniors often hesitate or forget to share key info, and as a result, nearly 60% of high blood pressure cases aren't properly managed, just due to poor communication. The small lesson here: health isn't a test you don't need to answer right or tough it out to avoid complaints. Your doctor is a partner, not a judge, and a checkup is where you're most honest about your body. A few ways to share more effectively. Write questions on paper before your visit. Bring a blood pressure log so your doctor sees trends, not just one reading. Ask for extra minutes if needed, or schedule a separate talk for details. Bring a loved one to remember instructions and support when required. Life after 60 can be very different. Your body changes, emotions shift too. But when you choose honesty, you choose protection. And here you've journeyed with me through 10 parts each, a perspective, a habit, a choice that can change your blood pressure and life quality. But before ending, let me send you a small note, a gentle, warm summary you might remember most. You've walked with me through 10 parts each, not just knowledge, but a small door opening to a better life. You might not recall every number, every medical term, and that's okay, because the most important thing isn't on the blood pressure monitor. It's in how you choose to live each day. A pill on time, a less salty meal, a call to a loved one, a sigh replaced by a deep breath, an honest question to your doctor instead of silence. Small things, but when repeated, they create something big. Stable blood pressure isn't just a hospital result. It's a personal journey where you're the guide and your heart's the companion. Don't wait for chest pain, dizziness, or a stroke to force a stop. Start now with a simple choice. Check blood pressure regularly. Write down one change you'll make today. Share this video with a friend you want them to live longer, healthier, and at peace. You don't need perfection, just a start. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget, like it, comment, sharing your first change. Subscribe to get more meaningful content on health, life, and the good things old age can bring. Because we don't just want to live long, we want to live healthy, happy, and truly worthwhile. This is Graceful Aging Tips. Thank you for your time today. Your heart is listening. Listen back to it. See you in the next video. Stay steady, stay kind, stay well.